Hello, this video is about the June 2016 version of Shotcut, otherwise known as 16.06. We're going to talk about the changes that are in it. And one of the first things you'll notice when you start it up is that there is a notice here to click here to check for a new version of Shotcut. When you click it, it'll tell you if you are and if you're not. It does not automatically check. We don't like to reach out to the internet automatically without your input. So you click to opt into it. Now let me show you what it looks like if you are starting a newer version. Now it tells you that there's a new version available. You click it and it'll open up the browser window to the download page where you can scroll down and download the version you need. Now let me go back to the release version. And let's go ahead and open up a project here. Start talking about some of these changes. The first change is about this red outline that appears on in previous versions. We added a red outline to show you what is currently selected, because it's very important that you know that the properties and the filters panels reflect whatever is currently selected. And you can also select a track, and you can see here that we're now viewing the filters that are on track V1, in which case there's none. And you can also click the top left hand corner, what we call the cornerstone, to view information about the timeline as a whole. And now one thing that wasn't clear to people is if you open up another clip, there now the filters and properties panels are showing information about what is in your source viewer. If you switch back and forth between the timeline and the source, one thing that wasn't clear to some people is that the panels of properties and filters, they change to show what is loaded in the source player when you switch to the source tab. And so now we've changed it so that the red outline disappears from the timeline. When you're in the source player, it disappears from the timeline, and it shows up here on the scrub bar to show you what is currently selected. And so you can better track what is occurring between what is selected and what is in the properties and filters panels, and hopefully not get lost as much. And when we press the escape key, we can switch back and forth between the different players as well, and you'll see that the red outline switches back to the timeline. Now the next thing is about these new toolbar icons for cut, copy, and paste. Also in the edit menu is cut, copy, and paste. And this is really handy to reorder clips on the timeline. If you select something and click cut, it removes it. It does a ripple delete basically, but it hasn't really deleted. A copy of it has gone into the source player. So this is not using the system clipboard. It's just an internal clipboard. And in fact, there is no separate clipboard area that is separate from the source player. The source player is basically your internal clipboard, and a clipboard player in one, so to speak. And what we can do is now choose a new point in the timeline where we wanted to insert that clip that we just cut out. And one way to do this is it'll insert wherever the playhead is, and you can click these previous and next buttons up here on the player to position it into the new place, and then click paste. So the paste button has replaced what used to appear over here as an insert button. And it's basically the same thing. People used to, there used to be a keyboard shortcut for, that was V to insert, and that is still available as well. So you can also, the clipboard cut, copy, and paste functions are so familiar to people, and so people are used to pressing Control C, X, and Control V to do their operations, and so this makes it a lot easier. Now that we used to have an action where if you would double click a clip, then it would open a copy of it into the source player. But it wasn't actually that object that's on the timeline. And so that has been basically removed and replaced with the copy action. And if you switch over to the source player, you can see that we just copied this clip from the timeline to the source player. And now when you double click, it seeks. It's not only selects the clip, but it also seeks to the beginning of that clip. And so this will make cut and paste easier. If you cut here, and let's say we want to insert it as the second one, we'll double click that and paste. And now you can easily reorder things. So let's open up a new clip in the source player, double click that recent item. And because C is now used for copy, if you want to add or append to the timeline, the shortcut for that has changed to A. So now we've appended that onto the timeline here. Let me undo that. Also, I should mention that in addition to double clicking, you can press enter. If I press the enter key now, it's seeked to the start of the selected clip. Now for the next thing is in the audio loudness scope, let's go to audio loudness. There is now a peak and true peak meters. Show you those in action. And you can also in this menu choose different meters to turn on and off. And another thing is that if you move your clips or your files around and Shotcut loses the linkage between the project and your media files, those can now be resolved. Let me show you what I mean. Let's go ahead and close this. And let's take this wildlife ABI that was being used and move it into a folder. All right. We'll make a folder, call it example. And we'll move wildlife into that folder. And let's start up with Shotcut again and choose our project. And now there's this missing files dialog that popped up. And for each file that it could not locate, there will be a row. The red X means basically that it's unresolved. If you double click the row, we can go and locate the file that we just moved, put it into example, and we choose the new location. And now that red X has turned into a green check mark, meaning it's all okay. And click OK, and our project can now open. And what it has done is it's basically created a copy of the project with the name repaired at the end. So now it's called Wildlife Shots Repaired. And another new feature is in the export dialog or panel, there is now a YouTube preset. And basically this was added to help people because it wasn't really necessary. If you did not choose a preset, if you do not change any settings and you just go and you choose export file, then it has the same settings as the YouTube preset. But a lot of people are looking for that specifically, and so we added it. And of course, it could be used for other web sharing services as well. And lastly is a file Export Etl. Now, EDL is another text file for projects. It will not retain the full fidelity of your Shotcut project, but it will basically capture the video sequence and let you try to bring it into another program. This is really for advanced users. Your mileage may vary. Let me show you what this wildlife EDL looks like. This is what an example of what it looks like. And that's all we have for today. Thank you.